Welcome back. Today is day 17 of this 22 module course, and today we're talking all about YouTube analytics. We're going to go behind the scenes and show you how to interpret the data. YouTube really gives us a lot, and if you know what to look for, how to interpret it, you can really benefit from it and make improvements on your channel so it can continue to grow. Okay, so we are just going to dive in here and I'm going to start showing you things, but I have made a list of different things that I want to cover because there's a lot of different ways you can use this data, different ways you can organize it so that you can really learn and understand. So what we're looking at right now, we are in the Creator Studio and I'm using Noelle Randall's channel as the example and putting her on the spot today. Just 4 hours and 47 minutes ago, she uploaded a short and it's underperforming what her videos normally do. So that's why I say I'm kind of putting her on the spot. So what YouTube is showing us front and center right at the top when we sign into the Creator Studio is your latest video performance. Now, if your last upload, in this case, it was a short on Noelle's channel, it shows you that short compared to the previous 9. And if your last upload was an episode, a full video, it would then compare that to the previous 9. So you can see that by clicking on or hovering over this little arrow, and you'll see that the one that was just uploaded today, 4 hours and 47 minutes ago, is ranking number 9, and we can see the typical range. Typical is between 430 and 670 views in this same 5-hour period of time. And so this one's only got 330, whereas our best one in the last 10 has nearly got 900 views on that short. So it's kind of fun to look at for shorts and definitely for your episodes to get a quick assessment early on about how this video is doing compared to the previous 9. Okay, so where I always go next is to the analytics page, and this is where we get an overview of the whole channel. And then I'll show you how you can drill down and look at analytics for individual videos, okay? But overall for the channel, it gives you a 28-day view by default. You can change that. You can look at the last 90 days. And so in this case, you can see that we are at a high point here. We kind of had a lull for a couple of months, and now it's picking back up even higher than where we were 90 days ago. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, we're looking at the number of views in the last 90 days. You can click on each of these and look at the number of subscribers gained. You can look at your estimated ad revenue. When you stay on this same page, we're on the overview. If you scroll down, you'll see the top content in this period. Okay, it's pretty descriptive, so we changed it to 90 days. So this episode right here that was launched on November 4th is her best performer in the last 90 days. Let's see if we just look at the last 28 if it stays the same. Okay, let's scroll back down. Yep, that same video. This is the top performer overall. The last 90 days, the last month. In the last 28 days, this one video has had 54,000 views. And that's more than double the one below it. The second best performing video in the last 28 days has had 24,000 views. So I love coming here and seeing what's performing well, okay? You can go into the video. So if we click on this one, up in the top left corner, it shows the video that we are specifically looking at analytics for. Before clicking that, we were looking at analytics for the whole channel, the total number of views, the total amount of ad revenue for the channel in that period. Now we're looking at just this episode. And if you noticed, we're looking since published. This video hasn't even been out 28 days yet, so it adjusts and it says since published. If we go back and we click on, okay, this one was launched clear back in December of 2020. So we've got nearly a couple of years of history there. It shows since published. We can change that to the last 28 days and say, even though we published this video a couple of years ago, in the last month, this episode has still brought us in $378. It still had nearly 11,000 views. So that's pretty cool. I launched this video 2 years ago and it's brought me in 11,000 new views. You can look at reach. Okay, let's check this out. 48% of these views on this episode that we launched 2 years ago is coming from search. People that are searching, haven't heard of Noelle before in most cases, and now they're finding her and learning from her. So I want you to pay attention to how I got here, okay? So I'm in analytics, and whether I'm looking at analytics for the whole channel or for just an individual episode like this, I came to reach, and if you scroll down, you can look at this section, how viewers find this video, and you can see you know, the breakdown. How much is coming from search? How much is coming from browse or suggested, or sometimes external is in the top ranking if you're emailing a lot or getting a lot of traffic from other sources. This is a real testimony to how effective the Leaf strategy is, okay? We had this title we did keyword research for, and we launched it, and to this day, we're getting about 11,000 views per month. Half of that is coming from search. This is amazing. That's a real valuable video. Now on the same page, if you look over here on the right, you'll see a funnel. And this is fun. This is a fun funnel to look out for your channel to know what your averages are. So I'll show you that in a second. And you can obviously look at it on individual episodes to say, okay, this is the number of impressions. This is how many people this video is being suggested to by impression. And then what percentage click on it. Okay, and we see that this click-through rate on this video is 5.3%. Now I do want you to know the higher volume of impressions, the lower that click-through rate will be. That's just the nature of it, because if YouTube's showing it to a wider and wider audience, which we want, it's going to be a smaller percentage of that audience that the video actually applies to, but that's okay. If a video is getting millions and millions of views and you only have a click-through rate of 2%, you got to compare apples to apples. Find videos that have the same number of views or the same number of impressions and compare the click-through rate on both of those to know which one is better and which one is underperforming. You can follow this funnel down and see from those clicks how many views came from that and what's the average view duration, and so total, what's the amount of time that people have spent, and in this case in the last 28 days. So what's the amount of time people have spent watching this video, and you see here it's in units of hours. So this one episode has resulted in 791 hours of watch time on Noel's videos on this channel and on YouTube. YouTube loves that stats because YouTube wants people to spend time on their platform, and this video has resulted in people spending 791 hours on YouTube. You'll notice that there's a lot more that we could find on this page, so explore that. I'm going to jump ahead to engagement because it gives a real good drill down of audience retention, and I love this graph right here. In fact, this one's really interesting. So what you see is, you know, in the beginning, at the first second, you'll have 100%, right? 100% of people, but very quickly it'll drop off. This happens on every video. You can see here that 37 seconds in, we've dropped down to 61%. So 39% of people have left. It just wasn't the right fit for them, but we've still kept 61%. Now what's really cool in this one is it doesn't get too much lower than that. I mean, at the lowest point, if I'm looking correctly here, 5 minutes and 38 seconds in, we've dropped down to about 53% retention rate, which that's pretty good. And what's surprising, it increases back up to 69% at 8 minutes 21 seconds, or at 68% at 8:53. So that's interesting. Like that's unusual for it to go back up like that. That might mean that people are skipping ahead and then watching that part more, or it might mean that there's a part at the end. This is probably more likely after people have watched this section right here of the video between, you know, 7:56 and say, you know, 9 minutes in, they might rewind and watch that part again. It might be such valuable information that they're rewinding and watching that again. So that raises the retention rate for that section. What's amazing about what YouTube has set up here, you don't have to then go in and manually search for these things. I can click right here and notice the video jumped ahead right to that point. So then I can just watch this section. It's really cool. And YouTube actually finds, like, it says the top moment of the video. For this video, it's saying, yeah, the whole video is your top moment of this episode. So sometimes their shortcuts are helpful. In this case, just looking at the graph down here, there's some real cool things that I would be interested in looking at because I want to do those again in future episodes. Okay, we're going to look at two more things. We're going to come to the audience tab, and then we're going to scroll up here and go to advanced mode and show you all the information that you can find there and what I like to look at. And I want to encourage you to get my book. It's my gift to you. It's called A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. So the detail that I'm sharing in this video and that I'm sharing in this 22 episode course this whole month here on YouTube, it's the companion to this course, but it's the book that I've put my heart into for the last 2 years. It's finally published and ready for you, and I want to give it to you for free. You just cover the shipping cost. You'll find that link below, and it's going to change the game for you on YouTube. Okay, so we come here, we click on audience, and you'll start to see some of the demographics, right? you'll see this is a really cool stat, returning viewers. So these are people that have viewed other episodes of yours and now they're coming back. That's a good number to know and to see, are things improving? Are they declining, right? You can look at a difference of subscribers based on watch time. So people that haven't subscribed are watching, in this case, nearly 77% of a video. But people who are already subscribed, on this specific episode at least, they're only watching 23% of the video. So maybe there's some repetition in there. You can see that over 90% of the views on this video has come from the United States. If I click on see more, you'll actually see, well, I was going to say you'll actually see a breakdown of all the different countries, but we're not seeing any other countries in here. If you look over to the right, you'll see, age and gender. Yeah, there's a lot more data here, but I wanted to show you how to do this in advanced mode, because you can actually look at this data for the whole channel and you can categorize your videos, which is really important and really cool. Okay, so before I click on advanced mode, I'm actually going to go back to the analytics for the whole channel and then click on advanced mode. So now we're looking at data for the whole channel, and you can see we're looking at views by content. That's just kind of the default where it starts. If I click on this down arrow, you see I can change it to a lot. I can just change it to subscribers, and it's looking at, all of the videos sorted by the number of subscribers in the last 28 days. So this video right here, how to remove hard inquiries in less than 24 hours, that's added 453 subscribers in the last 28 days. Really cool. So you can see which one's bringing the most. But did you notice when I clicked on this drop down, there's this thing here that says more metrics. Look at what just popped up. I mean, that is a lot. Something that I actually look at a lot is average views per viewer. I want to see how many videos does a person watch in a given period of time. For our strategy and everything that you're learning for trying to generate leads on your channel, answering these questions, the number is actually lower. Now, Noelle's has ranged from, I'd say we're probably at a low point here of 1.8 to 2.1. I've seen hers as high as 2.8. Compare that to channels like Mr. Beast. I don't have access to his analytics, but I've heard him share things like the numbers being as high as 8 or even 12. It's gone down for him because he's not launching as many episodes per month as he used to. But I'm actually a subscriber to his channel and I watch everything that he uploads. So if he uploaded 10 episodes this month, that number would be 10 for me. Here's something that's really exciting that you can do. We've already clicked on advanced, right? But we come over here and in the same area where that button was, now we click on compare to. And you can compare videos to each other or even groups. So check this out. We've created several groups. If I wanted to create a new group, it opens up this window and you're gonna have a lot of fun exploring this and figuring this out. Let's say we wanna create a group around Airbnb. So I'll just type that in there and then I'll type the same thing down here because now it does a search. So all the videos on Noelle's channels that talk about Airbnb, especially if they have Airbnb in the title, they've all got them listed right here. So I can go through and just select which ones I want to add into this group. Okay, so we'll just select 10. Okay, so I've got 10 selected and I'll just hit save. And now I'm going to create another group and we'll call it Turo. And so in the search here, I'll type in the word Turo. Okay, so I did notice here that there are only 6 that came up by Turo. So I'll check those 6. What if I type in car? There we go, there's a few more. So I'll select 4 more here and I'll hit save. So now we've got 2 groups that we just created here that both have 10 videos in them. And watch what I can do. I can select one group. Let's select the Airbnb first. So what we're looking at is a comparison of this group to the whole channel, and that's not what we want. In my example, now we want to compare Airbnb to Turo. So now do you see what I've done here? We're looking at a comparison in the last 28 days. I can change that date range, but in the last 28 days, 10 of my Airbnb videos compared to 10 of my Turo videos. And I say my, but these are Noelle's videos. And we can just look at the stats. Like the Turo videos have generated 5,160 views. Airbnb videos, 3,255. So it's good to know the number of views. But just like we were looking at all the different ways you can look at this data, you can do that and compare these groups. The more that you understand the performance, the more that you understand these numbers and get into the details, you want to dig and dig until you find something that might surprise you or that stands out or that's a big difference. If you keep digging and then you find something, it then gives you an action item. It's like, all right, because now I know this, I'm now going to do this in the future. And so you can continue improving the trajectory of your channel. We've just completed another week in this module. We've got one more week next week, but don't forget tomorrow is a Q&A live stream. You've probably got a lot of questions. Go to asknate.net and submit your question there so I can answer it tomorrow right here on YouTube in that Q&A live stream.